Alright, so welcome back to the channel. Well, I'm just going to quickly show you how to retouch your studio shot like this, and this will include working on the background, working on the subject, and using two different software at the same time. Okay, so you can take a look at this image. You're going to see that they use a very poor backdrop for it, and it's even torn at this point, and we have some dirt on the floor, although the backdrop has some texture, but there are a lot of dirt. And also on the background, we have all these things that are not smooth. Okay, so we're going to work on it, and I've talked about a lot of tools you can use. So quickly I'm going to grab the mask tool, and I'm just going to do a quick retouch on that. Before that, let's duplicate the layer, Ctrl J to duplicate, so we know what we're working with. I'm just going to quickly come here and take it like this, and it's Ctrl D. In fact, let's make it bigger, and so that we avoid the liquefy effect. So hold down Ctrl T to bring up the transform, hold down Shift, and I'm going to drag it all the way to the middle like this, and I'm going to hit Ctrl D to deselect. I'm going to draw another one right here and make it bigger, and hold down Ctrl T for the transform, hold down Shift and take it all the way up. So we're going to cover that place, so it's the OK button and Ctrl D to deselect. Oh, now you can see how it's looking a little bit liquefied and all those looking fake. So I'm just going to grab this mixer tool brush, and I'm going to quickly blend that place together, and also blend this little side together. So we can actually copy textures if you feel like, oh, it's needed to copy texture. Once the thing is not showing, you can leave it. So I can just blend everything together like this. And you can, if you want to copy texture, you can just grab the clone stamp tool and maybe copy texture from this place. Hold down Alt, copy, and you can start pasting texture from there if you feel like you need the texture. Well, that's that. You can see some of the, I'm just gonna blend it in quickly. So now we've copied the texture, and we want to work on the background. We want to make it white. Now I'm going to carry this picture, I'm going to take it to capture one, and so that we can work on the background. Not that we can work on the background here in Photoshop, but it's actually going to take a lot of time to do that. So I'm going to use the opportunity to work on the background and work on the skin as well. So head up to capture one. Alright guys, so here we are in capture one, and I want to edit the backdrop, the background, and the model skin in capture one. Why? Because it's actually very easy, and unlike Photoshop that is time consuming and you need to select all mask and the rest. So capture one is just the perfect work. It's like Photoshop as well. Now for us to work on this one, I'm going to be using the layers. It's capture one has layers like Photoshop, so you can see the different layers here. So I'm going to grab the empty layer, and we have the magic brush tool, we have the brush, we have the magic eraser tool, and so these are perfect tool that actually select a color perfectly. So look at the background, you can see the down part, it's looking red. That's red inside. Of course it's brown, but it's actually red. When you talk about color grading, you're gonna see that. And this place have kind of blue to it. Okay, so I want to make these two the same. So I'm going to grab this one, and I'm going to select a particular place. You can right click and set the brush settings. I'm going to bring the refined edge backwards, and tolerance also backwards. And now I'm going to select a particular area, and we can hit M, and it's going to select that side. Now once it selects that side, you can see that some particular colors are selected. And now what we need to do is to make sure all those places are selected. I'm just going to select more areas. Now since we have that, you hit M on the keyboard to show the mask, M. Now I'm going to name this background. So we're working on the background, and what we need to do is to remove that particular color. We can go ahead and go to the color editor, or just use the color saturation here and pick this tool, and just pick this one. Is going to select the color for you, so I can decrease the saturation of that just like that, as easy as that. Okay, so if there be any other color, you can actually still remove it. Okay, and you can increase the lightness of it. So let's take it up like that, and let's continue. I'm going to go ahead and create another one, new empty layer. Grab this brush tool, and I'm going to select the backdrop tool. Let's select somewhere here, and hit M. It's going to select those places. So I'm just going to work on it just little by little, and let's see what color that is. I'm going to select that, and you see we've already worked on that color already. Okay, we've already worked on that color already. So I'm going to bring up the brightness instead, or the white and the black. So let's look for the one that perfectly suits the job. I believe we can use the brightness because it's going to make the backdrop disappear. So we can use the blacks instead, and the shadows. Bring up the shadows. So if that doesn't work as well, you can use, let's use the exposure. It's going to be too exposed. Let's use the brightness instead. So just brighten it up a little bit. So I'm going to leave it like that. And for all this part, this is too much. Let's take it back. Work to something like 9 should be fine. And for this one, I'm going to create another layer for it, empty layer, and I'm going to name this one background 2, and I'm going to name this one background 3. So for the top part, so I'm going to select the top part using the magic brush tool again. So just select the top part like this, and hit M to see the area it's selected. So you can see that there are some colors there. Now we want to remove that color. We can actually use the saturation button here, and it's gonna bring it up like this. So you can see there are some colors there, so bringing it backwards, and we can at the same time bring up the lightness. So let's increase the shadows, increase the black, whichever works. We can increase the brightness as well, so brighten it up like that. So I'm going to leave it like this. Don't over brighten it up. Wow, I think it will be too white, so let's take it somewhere like this. Should be fine. And now it's affecting the cloth, right? Yes. Let's see the ones that's affecting the cloth again. It's not affecting the cloth that much, so you can see I need to add this place to it. So let's take the brush tool, and I'm going to add this place to it. Yep, I think it's looking perfect already now. So those places that's not added, you can add it. Yep, so something like this. Let me see. Yeah, M. So I can add this place as well, and add this place. All right, so M. Let's look at this one. M, and we can as well add this place to it, and add this place to it. Alright, so now we've actually worked on the background. So let's see the one that's too much. So we have this one, we have this one, and then we have this one. So this is actually too much. So I'm going to bring up bring this backwards and bring this backwards. So I'm going to go ahead under the exposure tab and bring this backwards a bit so it looks realistic. So let's check out before and after with this icon. We have before and after. Now it's time to work on the skin tone. So I'm just going to grab the new empty layer again, and I'm going to name this skin, SKIN. Remember, we've not done work on the skin texture. I just want to work on the color. And this is how to work on the skin tones. You select the magic brush tool. You can see most of the selection I'm making is the magic brush tool. Now I'm going to select a particular color. I'm going to select all the color of the skin. So let's start with this one. Let's start with the color of the skin. It's M on the keyboard. It's going to select that particular color. So you can see that the color is selected. Now Ctrl Z. Let's start with this part that is dark. So I'm going to select that side, and it's M. It's going to select that particular color. Select this place, and we have all this. You can see what we have. Okay, sometimes I like selecting everything, but since we have that, I'm going to work on it. So first thing I'm going to go to the color editor, the skin tones. I'm going to grab this one, and because I want that side to look more like this place, I'm just going to select that sample, and I'm going to increase the hue, increase the lightness. Let's bring out the hue a little bit backwards, and you can increase the saturation to blend the saturation with it. So you won't actually see any changes, but the changes are there. I'm going to bring up this one to make it look more yellow, and let's take the lightness backwards a bit so it won't look fake. Alright, so that's for that, and we can go ahead and also bring up the black and bring up the shadows. So don't worry about it. If it's not looking okay, we're going to remove it, bring it back. So let's quickly see. We have this and this, so it's there. Now we select everything. I don't know if you can see it, but the blacks are gone. Alright, now since we have that, we're going to go ahead and create another one, which is for the skin tones again, and I'm going to select all the skin tones. So let's select everything all together. Hit M to see the selected places. I'm going to increase the tolerance and increase the refined edge, and I'm going to make a selection quickly. Yeah, so something like that, and it's just going to select the end as well and those places. So now that we have all selected, I'm going to go to the color, the skin tones, select this one. That's how to work on the skin tones. Now you look for a place where you want all the skin tone to look like. I want it to look like a face somewhere here, so I'm just going to pick that side, and it's going to give you the skin tones on the color wheel, the range. Now since we have that uniformity, the hue is going to make the hue uniform, so take it all the way up, and it depends, because the hue of the face, you can see that it's that color, so it's going to make it look like that color, make all the skin tones look like that color. You can see, so sometimes you just need to use only the saturation, and it's going to blend the two saturations together. And I like using the hue as well, so it makes, you can actually fix the rest. So now we have this one, and then you can also use the lightness if you feel it's needed. So just take up the lightness, take up the saturation a bit, and let's find a sweet place for the hue. I can take the saturation up here a bit, and the hue, for this amount of the hue, you can take it backwards to make it look like the dark red, and you can take it upwards to make it look the golden color. So it depends on the one you want. I don't want the golden one, I want to maintain the real image, so I'm just going to bring it backwards a bit like this, and we can see before and after, before and after. Alright, so that's how to work on the skin tone. So notice I didn't do a lot of work at the side, and you can see that it's blended. Alright, so the next thing we need to do is to take it to Photoshop and work on the rest part. So I can actually still work on the background if I still want it to be white. So it depends on what you want. So let's go. Or the same, create an empty layer, select this one. You can still select the dark part of our skin, which is somewhere here, and hit M. It's going to select that part alone. And the same thing, go to the skin tone, select somewhere here, and bring up the hue, bring up the saturation, make it the same. You can actually even bring up the lightness, and it's going to make it the same like this. Okay, so you can see what just happened, and you can go ahead and increase the saturation of those areas, and probably increase the highlight, or sometimes I use the lightness and take the hue. Take the hue forward, it looks yellow. Take the hue backward, it looks red. And I can go ahead again and brighten it up a little bit. So it depends on what you want to do. So just take a look at what's the effect, so before and after. So I just blended that in. Alright, so for the next one, you can work on the background and make it darker, and let's just quickly do that. So select the new adjustment layer. I'm going to select this one, select this side, it's going to show you that, and select more. Okay, so I can quickly grab the brush tool and erase it from her body and her hair, or something like this, just because I want to work on just the background alone. So you can see how perfect this works. It's just working on our body alone. So it's very simple. Hit M on the keyboard to hide, and you can still desaturate. Anything you want to do, take up the lightness if you feel like it's the perfect one. You can bring down the lightness if you want to make the subject come out more from the background. So I prefer the white one, bringing up the lightness and bringing up the blacks, bringing up the shadows, highlights. Very perfect. So something like this looks great. We can take up the white as well. So but one thing you need to note is, let's take up the brightness inside. Now because this image is it's of low resolution, it's going to be very bad if we continue working and twerking, because it's not in a raw format, it's on JPEG. So that's why we're having all this artifact. So we have before and then after, we have before and then after. We've not even worked on the skin tones, done frequency separation on the skin yet, but we're actually getting a very good result. So let's go ahead and go back to Photoshop to finish up this tutorial. All right, so now we're back again to Photoshop. Okay, so we want to work on the texture. So let's quickly do a recap. We went from here to here, from here to here. You can see the changes. The reason why we have all this is because of it's already converted to JPEG. Okay, JPG. It's you do this when you are having the raw image, the raw format of the image. So but in other words, let's continue. I'm going to grab this one. Now it's time for us to do frequency separation. A lot of you don't know how to use the tool, the retouching tool. So I'm going to be using one of the plugin, the Ultimate Retouch plugin. So I'm going to wait for it to load on, because it takes time with my computer for it to load. Now it's load. Now under the Retouch, Ultimate Retouch plugin, I don't know if I can make it bigger. Alright, so I can make it bigger a little bit. Now we have different sections. So this is for working on the lips, the teeth, the eye, and the film grain, skin pigments, the everything you want to work. If you want to remove pores, and this one is for dodging and burning. You can see the name dodge and burn, so you can use different dodging and burning. You can use the one for curve, you can use the one for overlay, you can use the one for soft light, black and white, and all these are LPAS. So this helps you check the dodging and burning process you are actually doing. But for now, we want to do frequency separation, which is this one. Now we have 3 Gaussian method, we have 2 portraiture, we have 2 Gaussian method. This is the one you normally do use in they normally talk about a lot, the Gaussian method that you see on YouTube. So let's quickly use that one. I'm just going to click on it, and it's going to tell you to choose a blur value. Now how do you get a blur value? I like zooming into a place that I can quickly use. So let's take, for instance, I want to blend I'm going to choose somewhere here, so you can see I want a very smooth transition somewhere here. So I'm just going to increase till I have a very smooth transition like that. So sometimes 1.7 is okay for images that are going fast, so let's just leave it at 2. And if it doesn't work, you're going to go back again to choose a very better radius. So but for this one, I'm going to, I think I will go with this. So it's okay, and it's going to create everything you want. I'm going to make this, close it, and now we have 2. Now it's going to choose the mixer 2 brush for you and the settings of the brush. So all you just need to do is just start painting. So I'm just going to zoom in, take the picture down, make sure the brush is small, and I'm going to paint on our skin like this. Now when you are doing visible layer, and now you can start working on the color of our skin. You can go to filter, go to camera raw filter, and then do some color grading, or do some, what's it called now. So I'm just gonna grab this one and give it some texture, and let's give some, we can increase the highlights a bit. Plus 5 should be fine. And the darks, I really don't want to see darks inside the image, so shadows as well, let's bring it up. Okay, so you can add some tint and temperature right now. So if you want the photo to look cooler, you can introduce some blue tint. If you want it to look warmer, which is more I would like to make it look more warmer, to make it look more sexy. Yeah, and like, what's it called now, I don't know the right word to use. So just add some little warm temperature, and you can give it some the A's, remove some the A's. So by taking it up, it's just going to increase it like contrast. So after that, I'm going to close that, go to the color mixer. You can add some curve. So taking up the highlight, bringing down the blacks like that to add some curve. Let's add some color mixer. I'm going to go to the hue. There are no other colors there though, but I guess the one on the highs looks like blue. So I'm going to bring it backwards and bring this backwards. And for the skin, the hue of the skin, if you like this one, you can leave it. If you want to make it look like yellow, take it. If you want to make it look like red, take it. So I'm just going to leave it somewhere there and bring this backwards a bit and increase the red. Let's take the red backward. If she has any red lipstick, I doubt she has any. So go to the saturation, and we can break up the saturation of the yellows, bring up the saturation of the orange, and there we go. Now okay, I want to quickly explain something. Let's increase saturation of this. Now because I increase the saturation of the yellows, you can see that the attention of your face now is now focused on the skin, okay, and not the white part. So you can focus more on her eyes, you can focus more on the skin she's touching. So because I've used saturation to do that, if I increase the saturation, the more your eyes will be drawn, attention will be drawn to those places. So but too much is sometimes very bad, so I'm gonna leave it like this, and let's take it little by little. We can also decrease the luminance or increase the luminance to make it more brighter and more appealing. All right, so that's will be the end. We can go to the calibration, and but I don't like using the calibration. It changes what we've done already. So I'm just going to bring it backwards and take this forward, and let's see. Yeah, so that's why I don't like using it. So I'm just going to reset and reset, and it's okay on the keyboard. And there we go with our image. So one more thing, if you want the melanin type of skin, you can go ahead, grab the color lookup. All these are in the pack. You can go to load 3D LUT. I'm going to locate the Meet Retouch pack, and let's go up. I'm going to go to the melanin LUT and choose the melanin cube, and we have this one. Although it's too bright, but if you want to see it only on the skin, I'm just going to invert and grab the normal brush tool. Make sure the foreground color is white, and I'm just going to paint on the skin alone. So something like this to give you the melanin skin you want, but I don't think I like the melanin skin though on this image. But there are sometimes it just fits the image so good, and you can see I just like the brown rich tone. You can decrease the opacity and decrease, and you have that rich melanin skin LUT. Alright, so if you like that, you can choose that, but I think I like this one. But let's make it more realistic by adding just a little. And you can still do dodging and burning with your, this one. You can just do dodging and burning, curve and overlay and soft light. Okay, so I think the image is already bright enough, so I don't need to do dodging and burning. So let's look at our image from beginning to the end. I'm going to merge these two. Merge layers. Alright, so turn off all this, and we went from here. You can see to here, here to here, using capture one and what's it called now, Photoshop, from this to this, from this to this. So something I would like to do, if I want to paint the lipstick, I can just grab this one. It's okay, turn it off, double click to open up the color picker. Let's make it more brighter and choose this one, the red lipstick, and I can turn it off, invert the mask and paint on the lips. So like this. Yep, I know, but this is not how to actually do it. So you can change the blending mode to maybe soft light or overlay, or whichever one. Let's use overlay and zoom out and see how real it is. So we have that, so you can see that just a little bit, touch of red, and everything changes. Okay, so when I'm talking about the master, the color grading class, you're going to know why we need to add a touch of red, complementary colors, and the rest of. So you can decrease the opacity, the opacity of this one, and make it look real like that. And so that's all you need to do. So thank you guys for watching. See you in our next video.